Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Asatara Sratasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon BBD Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glories of Srila Prabhupada.
Would you like, because it's some of them don't understand English, like line by line you can translate, unless you think that it will reduce the time. Your call, whatever you say.
You can translate?
Yeah, up easily.
I'm used to it. Yeah, no problem.
Hare Krishna. हम सबका नाम सौभाग्य हमारे बीच आज प्रदान हुआ है। इस ग्रेट श्रुतकीर्ति प्रभु। जैसे आप सब जानते हैं, प्रभु श्रीला प्रभुपाद के प्रेषित हैं, very clear disciple of Srila Prabhupada, his personal servant, and all his life after Srila Prabhupada's departure from an external sense from this planet, have been devoted to Prabhupada Katha, which is non-different from Prabhupada. Today also we have some very special fair plan for Narasimha installation and Srila Prabhupada's glorification. He is great श्रुतकीर्ति प्रभु के प्रभु अनुरोध कर रहे हैं कि लाइन बाय लाइन ट्रांसलेशन करें, तो we just translate like that. कितने लोगों को अंग्रेजी समझ में आते? दो चार नहीं। अलग से कर सकते हैं, लेकिन ट्रांसलेट करना 10 वर्ड में भी ट्रांसलेट जो लोग अंग्रेजी नहीं समझते, पीछे दास रघुनाथ प्रभु उनके लिए अनुवाद कर रहे हैं। There what is this? Quite a few people.
Yes.
So maybe they're suggesting because we want to hear more from you. So they will translate.
Speaking English only.
Yeah.
Okay.
You decide, whatever you say will finally be.
You decide, I'm your servant here. Whatever you like.
I'm in difficulty sometimes. How many devotees are there? कितने लोग हैं? कितने लोग हैं इंग्लिश समझते हैं अच्छी तरह? Majority, you know.
So
you can speak without, you can have unfettered Prabhupada.
we had democracy. Hare Krishna. So of course it's very wonderful to be here. Some of you would know, at least for the last 4 years, my base, my wife and I, our base has been in Vrindavan at Krishna Balaram Mandir. So I've been here many times over the years. I just heard yesterday that their lordships Radha Parthasarthi, their installation was 50 years ago this year. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
November?
Yes. 21st November.
I was here. I was here for that time, so I certainly, when you have a program, you'll have to bring me, although I don't remember very much of the installation at that time.
Stay back.
Yes. So today, of course, we know in Lord Nrsingadev, he's going to be making his appearance here. Lord Nrsingadev also, he has a very wonderful history in our Iskcon society. I joined, as we say, moved into a temple in 1971. So in April of 1971, so that was some 52 years ago. And at that time, of course, Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada was preaching in the West, in USA. So many things. We know we had our headquarters At that time in the West, some of you might know the headquarters was New Dwarka Temple. Who is in New Dwarka Temple in Los Angeles? Rukmini Dwarkadish. They're the most special deities. We know we have Radha, Parthasarthi, Radha Golokananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Shanasundar, Radha Madhava, Nowhere do we have Rukmini Dwarkadish. But Prabhupada understood. There in Los Angeles, which is right on the coast, right by the ocean, Pacific Ocean. And Los Angeles at that time was a very opulent place, just like you have Bollywood there. We have our Hollywood for so many decades there in Los Angeles. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada named them Rukmini Dwarkadish. Very, very beautiful. And it was there in Los Angeles. Prabhupada was committed to go to the West for preaching, which was told by his spiritual master, his Guru Maharaj, said, you take this Krishna consciousness to the Western countries, print books in English. So he was doing that. And maybe it was 1970 or so, Prabhupada was committed to being there in the West, spreading Krishna consciousness in the West. And what happened? He heard from Rukmini Dwarkadish, the deities there. Prabhupada said the deities told him, you go back to India to establish a temple, to establish temples in India. Prabhupada was, my mission is here. So it was the deity, Rukmini Dwarkadish. We know today is Appearance Day. Srimati Rukmini Dwadasi today. So it was those deities that sent Srila Prabhupada back here to establish temples in India, so many temples. Again, I was with Srila Prabhupada from September of 1972, and for the most part, all the way to June of 1975. So we would come to Delhi. Srila Prabhupada was always on the way to Vrindavan. He would stop here in New Delhi. Of course, there is no temple.
There you are.
Yes, Brahmananda, there. Srila Prabhupada. This is one of my favorite photographs. We're all very serious. Krishna consciousness is about being serious. I was just talking to Prabhuji saying, the one thing I see more and more as time goes by, Srila Prabhupada, he taught us how to be attentive. And some people think to be Srila Prabhupada's personal servant and Srila Prabhupada's entourage, it wasn't easy, because you had to be 100% attentive in your service. This is something he always taught us. And if once that attention is gone, we have two, there's Krishna or there's Maya. As soon as you become inattentive, Maya has taken over. So it could be most apparent when you were with Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's pure devotee. Many times I've said, being Prabhupada's personal servant, you're a pujari. We all see these pujaris. I've become very conscious of the pujaris in Vrindavan. So many pujaris serving their lordships, I'm sure just like here. So personal service, really test your attention. And with Srila Prabhupada, of course, the pure devotee of Krishna is our Acharya, founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. We say every day, we say so many times today. It was so delightful today, the Kirtan. This is the first time, as I was walking around with Srila Prabhupada, circumambulating the deities, the entire Kirtan was Prabhupada, right? Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. This consciousness is very, very important. I say the difference between being pujari and Prabhupada's pujari is if you did something wrong, he would tell you. Deity may also be telling you, but we have to open our ears to hear. Huh? We know so many places, Prabhupada says, the deity will talk to you. We all talk to their lordships. I saw one silly post on Facebook. Who's the most famous person you've talked to? And you see people put all these silly things down there. They talk, mostly celebrities. I talked to Bob Dylan, I talked to this person, I talked to George Harrison, and I'm thinking, I talked to Krishna. I don't hear him talking back, but this is who we're talking to. We're talking to Guru and Krishna. We pray to them. In Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada said, if you have any problems, you take it to Lord Balaram. We know there, Raman Reti, we have our most beautiful Krishna Balaram deities. And Prabhupada said, you have some difficulty, you talk to Balaram. He can solve all the problems. Bala's strength. He can solve all your problems. So more and more, as years go by, I'm understanding whatever is going on, we take it to our spiritual master. We take it to the deities. I often say, from our guru, we learn everything is personal. All these activities we do every day, they're not rituals. It's personal. We're doing to a person, to our spiritual master, to Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Balaram, Radha Krishna. Everything is personal. Everything. I tell often, being in this place in New Dwarka, Los Angeles, Rukmini Dwarkadish, Prabhupada gave me so many instructions while at that center. That was our world headquarters at the time, before world headquarters went to Mayapur later in the 70s. But 1970, 1971, 1972, 1973, Prabhupada would have devotees come to Los Angeles, to New Dwarka, to learn deity worship. He was personally training the head pujari at that time. The head pujari's name was Shilavati. We were young, 20 years old, 21 years old. I think she's now in New Vrindavan. She's like 90 years old. So she was older at that time. And she was a woman. She wasn't a man. Shilavati was a woman. People would come to learn how to take care of the deities there in Los Angeles, our world headquarters. And one day, I was walking up the stairs to Prabhupada's room. From the temple room at that time, you would go through back door, and stairs would go right up to Prabhupada's quarters. And downstairs, there were different little rooms. Now it's all pujari and deity rooms, pujari rooms. But at that time, there were different offices and things. And devotees, some would take prasadam in there, Prabhupada's entourage. And the one day walking up the stairs, he saw a plate of prasadam on a counter, just sitting there, no one near. And Prabhupada looked at me. He said, who has left this prasadam crying on the counter? Crying. That's personal. Another time, same place, bead bag. Prabhupada said, who has left their bead bag crying? This is Krishna consciousness. Consciousness. So when you were Srila Prabhupada, you learned everything most important. Sometimes we see, if you read Prabhupada's letters, conversations, he'll say how book distribution, most important. And all book distributors, they know that's the most wonderful service, because you're literally giving Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, through Srila Prabhupada, to whoever touches that book. That's what personal means. Just by touching a book, they make advancement. Just by seeing the book. And if they put it in their house, their whole house becomes blessed. That's personal. So everything personal. As I said, no rituals. It was right here between Delhi, Vrindavan, in this area. Prabhupada was on the train. We all know the trains here. You get in the train, you go to Mathura, go here, go there. Train stopping every half an hour. This little stop, this little town, this town. And Prabhupada, of course, he knew this area very, very well. So he was with a few of his disciples. This is 1971, on the train. So the train stopped at the station. And when the train stops, if you know you have 5 minutes, what does everyone do? They run out of the train, they go to this vendor, that vendor, get your bel puri, get this, get that. Prabhupada looked at his disciple. He said, kachori, get me kachori. He said, this person makes good kachoris, cooked in ghee. No one cooks in ghee anymore. But then everything cooked in ghee. So Prabhupada said, you get those kachoris. So the devotee got some kachoris. He comes back. He cleans the table. In the train, had the little table there. Cleans the table. Puts the kachoris on the table. And then he gets down on his hands and knees in the train. Dirty train. Prabhupada looks at him and says, what are you doing? He said, I'm offering the kachoris. Prabhupada said, I'm right here. You don't offer, he's going to eat them. You can watch him eat them. That was our blessing with Srila Prabhupada. You could watch Krishna's purity. You offer them to him. You didn't have to say prayers, trying to imagine he's taking. No, he's taking. He said, what are you doing? So Prabhupada took and started eating. That's why I say, we're not into rituals. When you're in that temple, everything you do, it's direct service to persons. Living eternal personalities are there on the altar for us to learn how to develop our love for Krishna through the spiritual master. Even today they talked, I would give class today, and they said, well, it's Rukmini Dvadasi, speak about Rukmini Devi, and I'm saying, what can I say? What can I say about it? What do I know? But I did see Srila Prabhupada. I heard Srila Prabhupada. We were talking about Lord Nrsingadev. Very, very wonderful. You're all here, you're going to have Lord Nrsingadev, huh? Lord Nrsingadev, Prahlad, Lakshmi Nrsinga here. So we came here for this. Because Lord Nrsingadev, he's our protector. Again, from the beginning, in the USA, we were not welcome on the streets, making so much noise, chanting Hare Krishna all day, 12 hours a day. The devotees would go in all the main places to chant. Not here. In the West, we were regularly getting arrested. Myself, we were with the group, the Road Show. Some of you, if you know the history, Iskcon history, there was a period we had the Transcendental Road Show. And it was very, very nice, very simple. It became a little more complex as time went by. And we were traveling all through the South in the USA. These cities are there. We have some of our big temples in Atlanta, in Florida, Gainesville, Tampa, Florida, Alabama. And these people in the South, They're like our version of Muslims, Christians. Not just Christians, these were your, we say, fire and brimstone, hell, fire and brimstone. If you don't do like this, you're going to hell. You do like this, you're going to hell. This is what I learned as a child. God he wasn't the kindest person. I remember I had a nun, sisters, the sisters in school, and she would say, there's a clock in hell. Hell. All we knew was hell, a lot of fire, very hot. She says, and the clock has the pendulum, never, forever, never, never you leave. Eternal damnation, never, forever you're here. Telling this to 6-year-old children, literally scaring the hell out of you. Huh? You don't want to go to hell. So this was the Christians. We were there chanting Hare Krishna. They saw this as complete blasphemy, this chanting in the streets, distributing these books. So we'd get arrested. And it was during those times Prabhupada brought Lord Nrsingadev, chanting prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. We had people would come to temples and they would throw, you call Molotov cocktail. You know what that is? You fill a bottle up with gasoline, petrol, put a rag in it, light it, and they would throw it. We had one devotee died from a fire. I believe it was in Atlanta, Georgia, from somebody firebombing the temple. In New Vrindavan, they came with guns, 1972. At that time, I was with Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, people think Hare Krishna is we just sing and dance, everything's nice. No. Prabhupada said, get guns. Devotees, Vaishnavas, we're not pacifists. No, we're not everything is okay. You're okay, I'm okay. No, Prabhupada said, we're okay, you're not okay. That's our philosophy. How to deliver that requires some intelligence. But then he had us pray to Lord Nrsingadev for our protection. And he has. We see so much how he's protected us. Prabhupada also had, I call it his Nrsingadev feature. Just now my god sister, my most senior god sister, Govinda Dasi, you all may know, finally she has her book in print called Sandalwood and Roses, about Srila Prabhupada. Very sweet, yes, sandalwood and roses. And that's what I remember. Any opportunity, if I have my Govardhan, Giri Govardhan Shilas, sometimes use sandalwood. But to get good sandalwood now, very, very difficult. Most of us, we don't even know what sandalwood actually smells like. It's so rare. It was rare when we were with Srila Prabhupada. People would bring him Mysore sandalwood and the aluminum. They had these aluminum bottles, the little cork on the top. And I would massage his head with sandalwood oil. You know why, right? Keep a cool head, Prabhupada said. Keep a cool head. So sandalwood oil is cooling. Lord Nrsingadev, why do you think we put chandan? Cooling. Cool down their lordships in this very hot, not very hot May 1st is what, 25 degrees. Who knew? Who knew? This is the mercy of Lord Nrsingadev, keeping everything cool. So I could smell sandalwood and be transported back to massaging Prabhupada's head. Because Prabhupada, he was sandalwood and roses, but sometimes he was the thunderbolt. That was also there. Like we see Lord Nrsingadev. You'll see him very soon, his expression. I won't say any more, but you'll see him. So that feature is there. It's there in all of us. We all get angry. But Krishna's devotee, he becomes angry when we blaspheme the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, he would chastise his disciples. He could raise his voice. We just heard a story the other day from Daiva Shakti. In Vrindavan, 1975, 1976, she was cooking for Prabhupada. As I cooked for him so many. She said to me the other day, she said, I asked you what to cook for Prabhupada. You said, just make sure potatoes are there. He really likes potatoes. I don't remember saying that, but Prabhupada did. It's called the king of vegetables, the simple potato, most inexpensive sabji in the market, potato, the king of vegetables. Prabhupada liked potatoes. He showed me how to make different preparations. Anyway, she was cooking for Prabhupada. And that day, he told her, make everything very, very soft. Why was that? Vishaka, you know? He had some pain. He said everything should be very soft. Normally, he didn't like squishy, soft vegetables, everything looking the same. Everything had distinct, you know. Okra could look properly cooked. Prabhupada liked when he cooked, he would turn the flame up very high when he cooks different sabjis, because that's part of the process, literally burning it in the wok, scraping that from the bottom of the wok. And then he left, he came back, somebody turned down the flame. Who turned down the flame? Leave it high. Because we're thinking, don't want to burn anything. No, there's so many processes. Prabhupada said, in the whole world, he said, I've been in the whole world. Only in India they know how to cook. Yeah. I don't know about nowadays. It seems like it's a lost art. Just throw chili in there, and then you kill all the flavors. A lot of chili, that's all you taste, chili. No, that's not the process. Anyway, Prabhupada told her that day, very, very soft. So she had the flame on low, and it had, in his cooker, it would take at least 45 minutes on a low flame to steam everything. So now it was going to take longer. And then she had another service she wanted to do for the deities. So she left Prabhupada's kitchen. And when she came back after some time, someone had turned it off. So she went and told Prabhupada. It took another half hour. See, this was being with Prabhupada. Prasadam, 1 o'clock. That means 1 o'clock, he's put on his tilak, he's chanted, he's bathed, dressed, put on tilak, said Gayatri, and 1 o'clock, his digestion is already starting. You see, that's his cooker. He said, when it's time to eat, already digestion is starting. And if you don't bring the prasadam, it's spoiled. Indigestion immediately. Anyway, she finally brought it. Things weren't properly cooked. And Prabhupada said to her, it was the most horrible thing. He said, you don't cook for me for the next 2 days. She felt punished. Of course, we know Krishna, Guru, they never punish. Even their punishments, they're blessings. But what is the point? Attention. You have to be attentive. She thought she was giving her attention as well to the deity, but no. Prabhupada he wanted his prasadam, he wanted it a certain way, and she had failed. Imagine being told you can't do your service for the next 2 days. Depending on your conscience, some people would think, oh, that's wonderful, I can sleep for 2 days. But that's not what a devotee is going to think. He's going to think, you've taken my service, I may as well kill myself if I don't have my service. See, that's Krishna consciousness. This is what you learn from the Guru. But he chastised her. And I said to her, well, he didn't yell at you, did he? She said, no. Because Prabhupada never yelled at the ladies. He would chastise it in a very kind, fatherly, grandfatherly way. The men, he'd yell. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Brahmanandas, don't you move a pin from here to here without asking me? And that was our position, being with Srila Prabhupada. Huh? Not easy. Now you ask someone to do something. I have to chant rounds, I have to do this, I have this. You didn't have that option with Srila Prabhupada. You have your service, you do it. But that was kindness, always kindness. But then there was Nrsingadev. I saw that feature with Prabhupada maybe 3 or 4 times in 2.5 years. One time, I believe it was in Ahmedabad. It was one of his personal servants. It was sannyasi. He had been Prabhupada's personal servant in 1970. So now it's 1973. I'm Prabhupada's servant, little young brahmachari. So this sannyasi, of course, he came to India. He became polluted. Hearing from this person, that person. We know, just like us. I've been in Vrindavan for 4 years, most part of the last 4 years. Every day we go to Krishna Balaram Mandir, take darshan, Gaur-Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Shama Sundar, Srila Prabhupada in the Samadhi, every day for 4 years. I have not been to any other temple in Vrindavan in 4 years. People come there for 2 weeks, they go to 20 temples, visit, take darshan, take darshan, take darshan, take darshan. In the meantime, Prabhupada wanted all of us to hear. He said our temple here in Vrindavan should be filled with Goswamis, just like the 6 Goswamis. People should come to hear. His secretary one day, Prabhupada, after lunch prasadam, we'd take 15-minute rest. So that he got up and rang the bell and he called for his secretary. The servant said, oh, Prabhupada, he's visiting temples. So then finally he came back, Prabhupada called him in the room. I've heard this statement. Your business is here in this temple. He said to me, you have no business going anywhere. You have to be in your room 24 hours a day in case I need you, in case something is needed. With Prabhupada, I never went anywhere. I was trained up that way. I don't go anywhere. Here in Delhi, I come to the temple. In Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir. Prabhupada said, all the holy places are in the courtyard of Krishna Balaram Mandir. He understood hearing from others is only going to confuse you, pollute you, ruin you. He protected us. He was our Lord Nrsingadev, incarnation of Lord Nrsingadev. I thought, what can I talk about? Oh, I don't know anything, but I stayed with Prabhupada for a long time, so I can talk about him. Neither do I know him. I don't know who Prabhupada is in the spiritual world. He would laugh when people ask, oh, we don't ask those questions, he would say. He said, Rishikeshananda, sannyasi, he went away to Prabhupada's godbrother. Prabhupada put him in the care when he first came, 1970, and his godbrother initiated him. Such an insult. These things is what upset Srila Prabhupada. When you start messing with this philosophy he's given us, his way. The person who brought Krishna consciousness all around the world. He's our protector. If you leave that protection, anything can happen. So we're in Ahmedabad staying at Life Member's house. This is 1972, early 73, so just a few devotees. And his disciple came to see him. He's not in Iskcon anymore. And he's wearing these red robes, like sannyasi robes, huh? And he comes in and he sits down before Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada looks at him, the all-merciful Srila Prabhupada, sandalwood and roses. He said, "You can come back." Prabhupada immediately said to him, he knew he was gone. He said, "You can come back and be with us." He said, "I'll take you back." And this sannyasi starts doing all these mudras. Didn't say anything. He starts doing these. I didn't know what they were. I still don't know what they are. I see some of the pujaris doing things. And Prabhupada taught us very simple. Anyway, he starts doing that. And then I saw Prabhupada's expression change. No more roses. He became red, like the rose, like a red rose. But that red was anger, seeing what his disciple had done. He had given everything. He gave Krishna. He gave himself. And he sees this nonsense. And he kept doing, and he was clearly intoxicated. And Prabhupada again, he tried so much to save him. But he couldn't hear. He could no longer hear anything. Why? Because he's going here, he's hearing from other people. This is what happens. You're going to hear from other people and think, oh yeah, well maybe it's like this. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I don't have to practice all these austerities and I can become godly. I can become God, whatever. Brahmananda, he's sitting on the side. You saw the picture of Brahmananda in that photo. So he was big devotee, Brahmananda. He was with Prabhupada from the beginning to his very last days. He was with Srila Prabhupada. So much love for Srila Prabhupada. Personal. He was attached to Srila Prabhupada. He loved him. And Prabhupada looked at Brahmananda. He is shaking. Prabhupada's lips would quiver. You know what anger looks like? There's anger, there's more anger, most angry. There's different levels. Just like there's levels of laughing. I would watch Prabhupada laugh, and his laugh would increase, and his body would shake, and he'd keep laughing, and his body would shake, and the tears were coming down from his eyes, and then he'd start slapping his knee in ecstasy. This is devotee. Whatever their feelings are, they come out. But at this time, Prabhupada's eyes, I didn't even want to be in the room. It was so frightening seeing Prabhupada's I had never seen him like this. Was the first time I saw the Nrsingadev form of Srila Prabhupada. Why? He didn't burn the meal he was cooking. He didn't put salt in the charnamrita instead of sugar, which happened once. Prabhupada yelled, and then he carried on. Because we're inattentive. No, it was not that kind of angry. This was messing with this philosophy he had given us. The perfect philosophy for this time and place. How to make devotees all around the world. But if you mess with this philosophy, you change, he'll take that Nrsingadev form. You may not see it for days, weeks. You may not even see it in the person for this lifetime. But you can be sure, like that nun said to me, never, forever. There's going to be a lot of burning to do for this person who ruined the lives of so many by speaking his nonsense, not hearing from Srila Prabhupada, not understanding how important it was to follow his instructions. He wanted us to follow his instructions exactly, just like the GBC. He said, your business is to do exactly like I'm doing. He meant on the spiritual level, not managerial level. He meant you have to show them how to be a devotee 24 hours a day. And this devotee, who was devotee, Prabhupada's sannyasi, he was gone just by wandering. And finally, Prabhupada could see he can no longer hear. He cannot hear. It's been blocked by Maya. And Prabhupada turned to Brahmananda. Didn't turn to me. He turned to his Brahmananda. He said, take him out of here. You don't want to hear that from Srila Prabhupada. Get him out of here. And Brahmananda came literally. And he was, like me, little shorter, thin. Prabhupada grabbed him. Brahmananda grabbed him out the room and out the door. There was no sandalwood and roses anymore. Don't think, myself, I know my book, What is the Difficulty? Very, very sweet, intimate pastimes. But these pastimes are also there. So we have to protect ourselves. We have to take that protection from Lord Nrsingadev. And it doesn't mean just bowing down, doing your dandabats and getting, no, it's your whole life. It's not a ritual that you bow down. You learn some humility. I always say, Prabhupada never told me to stop offering obeisances. 20 times, 30 times, 40 times in one day, in and out of his room. 10 times just during lunch prasadam. Bring the chapati, bow down, go out. Bring another chapati, offer obeisances. He never said, okay, that's enough. Because it's never enough. If you can't do anything else, you bow down. Huh? One of the 9 processes. Bowing down before the Lord. But then the rest of the day, you also have to bow down with your mentality. Not that you go do this, go do that, hear from this person, go wandering around all over. Maybe there's something better. And that was the big disease in Vrindavan. Prabhupada said, you stay here, hear from me. Not that you go to Radha Kund. We all know so many stories, Prabhupada would say, about the ladies. They go to Vrindavan. They want to have a child by big Radha Kund Baba Sannyasi. He says, then the people, the men, they go to Vrindavan, dress as sannyasis. They're not sannyasis, they dress as sannyasis and they take advantage. The cheaters and the cheated. Everyone's being cheated. So he tried to protect us from this cheating propensity. And the only way you can do that is hear from someone who wants to give you Krishna, not cheat you, not collect money. Like we know he said, sit there, twirl some incense, collect money for the deity. No. Preachers. So that was the one time. That was my first time. The next time I saw Prabhupada's Lord Nrsingadev feature was in New Dwarka, this place, the headquarters, Los Angeles. And what had happened there, this is when the devotees, 1973, 1975. So devotee means they've been practicing at the most 8 years, 9 years, right? At that time, if you were in the temple for 1 month, you were a senior devotee, because people were coming every day. If you had a Brahmin thread, I remember watching the Brahmins, when I first joined. What are they doing? You expected they were going to levitate off the ground. They look so secret mantras. We had the Hare Krishna mantra, but they had secret mantras. This is how we were. So now, 1973, 74, some of the devotees, New Dwarka was a big community, maybe 200 people at that time, many grahastas, brahmacharis. What did they formed a club. You know the name of the club? Gopi Bhava Club. The Gopi Bhava Club. You should know this history. It's important to know what not to do. Not just what to do. You should know what not to do in Krishna consciousness. So they started their Gopi Bhava Club. I was with Prabhupada. I was protected. In my book I mentioned that I felt like the whole world was illusion and we were in a bubble with Srila Prabhupada. You stayed next to him, you were protected. You go away, you could, like that. You know here, what do they call cyclones? We call them hurricanes in the West. So a hurricane may be, in 100 miles per hour, 200, they have one, 2, 3, 4, 5 level hurricanes, winds. But what's right in the very center of the hurricane, the cyclone, call it the eye. The eye is perfectly calm and clear. As this cyclone passes over, there's so much wind, then all of a sudden it's clear. And then again, you're out of the center, and those winds, devastating winds. That's what it's like. We take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. If you move from that shelter immediately, whoosh, you can be carried away like these cyclones. Pick up a car, whoosh, pick up a house, whoosh, pick up us. We need Prabhupada's protection, the protection of Lord Nrsingadev. You're finished. So they said, they went to Prabhupada's room. And they think everything they're doing is fine. Prabhupada, all we're doing is reading your books. But they would only read certain passages from Nectar of Devotion, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, all about Krishna and the gopis. Then I saw Lord Nrsingadev again as he's coming out of the pillar. Not when he's sitting down with Prahlad, petting him. No. That's not the Lord Nrsingadev. I saw Lord Nrsingadev ripping apart Hiranyakashipus. All us Hiranyakashipus. Taking what Prabhupada gave us and destroying it. That's when Lord Nrsingadev appeared in Srila Prabhupada. Trying to change what he so carefully had given us while he was here. Prepared himself, like it says, lifetime in preparation. Prabhupada said he was in the United States for a year, 1965, when he went to Tompkins Square Park. It's 1966. He said, I studied us Americans, how they wear their culture, how they did. He said, then I preached. He said he studied us for a year. And these boys and girls, they could destroy that, just like that, the Gopi Bhava Club. This has sprung up again and again. Came up again in New Dwarka in 1975. Of course, Prabhupada gave the example about the physician. So many medicines may be there, but you have to know which medicine to take. And that comes from the physician. That comes from our Guru Maharaj, how to give you Krishna. Not that you just grab the books and decide you can do what you want. Oh, Prabhupada was furious. He told them all, nonsense, rascals. That was real chastisement. Not you forgot to do this, you forgot to do that. One time he said to me about me, we were in Thailand at a hotel. It was my first days as his servant. I don't actually have a working watch here. Oh, it's 9 o'clock already. So that was Prabhupada protecting what he gave us. And this is our business. You want to be recognized? Like his Guru Maharaj said, don't try to see Krishna. Try to serve in such a way that Krishna will see you. So if you want to be recognized, you have to protect what Srila Prabhupada has given us. You have to understand what's there in the books. Not just read it and make up your own idea. They were reading the books. Oh, this is wonderful. Reading about the gopis and Krishna's love affairs. No, not so simple thing. Not something we're ready for. Especially in general audience. So again and again he smashed them. And I could see these same people. We were on a morning walk, these same Gopi Baba. On a morning walk, and they started saying to Prabhupada, they started questioning Prabhupada. How are we supposed to preach? Who's going to listen to us if we say Nanda Maharaj had 900,000 cows, Krishna so many wives, each wife had tens of thousands of maid servants, and they're all decorated. Prabhupada said, you speak what people can understand. You don't have to speak that. And they had their long hair. Prabhupada disciples. Prabhupada didn't like long hair. Prabhupada didn't like unshaven. So they had their long hair. And they had mustache. Imagine, what's the word? How defiant, how obnoxious. The one devotee said, oh, Prabhupada, you had a mustache. Imagine saying that. I never dreamed on any level of asking such a question. People will come up to me, how many rounds did Prabhupada chant? I look at them, I don't know. It's my position to ask Prabhupada how many rounds. He's chanting Hare Krishna 24 hours a day. What are you doing? How many rounds does he chant? He saved you. That's all you need to know. Not what he ate, how many rounds he chanted, I do this. No. So this devotee said, you had a mustache. Prabhupada looked. And Prabhupada is so humble. To same Lord Nrsingadev, such humility, he said, that was before I was initiated. So he even responded to such a question. This was Prabhupada. This is the person, he's saving all of us. Don't forget what has brought you here. Think you can go somewhere. In Vrindavan we see so much. I never understood. Prabhupada speaks about Radha Kund. He said, how can you go in Radha Kund? Not different from Radharani. Over the years I've gone, other devotees I've seen, I was respectful. I didn't play in Radha Kund, diving in, swimming around. No, but I would take, and then I would go in. But then I started living in Vrindavan, and I'm thinking, who am I? I'll do what Prabhupada did, what Prabhupada said. He's my savior. Not all these people think they know everything. They know Radharani, they know Radha Kund, what it's about. Speaking about their Gopi Bhava. We see this going on now as well. People come to Vrindavan. They don't come to Krishna Balaram Mandir. Prabhupada's followers. They go all over the place. They go here, they go there, don't pass. But no one understands. You know nothing without Srila Prabhupada. And that's why he would present whenever philosophical changes, Prabhupada turned on that Lord Nrsingadev. It wasn't an act, it was genuine. You guys are destroying this movement. I've given my whole life. Prabhupada gave his whole life to give us Krishna consciousness. And one clown can destroy everything with his thousands and thousands of followers. We do what Prabhupada did, and then you'll be blessed. Guaranteed. I saw the letter. You know, some of you know I was here many years ago with the Mekala. Was married, my wife, she died 12 years ago. She was a brahmacharini, 1972, 1973, in the manor, Bhaktivedanta manor. I was Prabhupada's servant, brahmachari. So Prabhupada would go on his morning walk, and her and a few other ladies, they would clean Prabhupada's rooms. He had a big sitting room, bathrooms big as a stage, bedroom, everything beautiful. So they would clean. And Prabhupada would come back, everything spotless. That's what he wanted. Everything spotless, he would come back. He stayed there for over a month. And then he went to India. So this young girl at the time, she's just 19 years old. She gets a letter from Prabhupada, an aerogram. You know, we would write right on the very paper that the letterhead was the envelope. That was in those days. You would mail. The lighter it was, the less it cost. So the ladies were banging, young girls were banging on Amekala's door. Knocking on the door, she opens the door. What's going on? She said, you have a letter from Prabhupada. She said, I never wrote Prabhupada. I don't have a letter. No, you have a letter from Prabhupada. So they handed it to her. And Prabhupada. She's probably one of the few people that got a letter from Prabhupada without writing him. She was just doing her service. And the letter said, my dear daughter. We're his sons and daughters. My dear daughter, thank you very much for cleaning my rooms while I was at Bhaktivedanta Manor. He said, and if you chant your rounds, follow the principles, and you continue in your service, he said, without a doubt, at the end of this life, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. She never forgot. I was there when she passed. So many wonderful things transpired. Certainly Prabhupada came for his daughter. He comes for all of us. Where he takes you, that's up to us. He's going to come. But where you go, that's up to us, up to our consciousness, up to how we followed Srila Prabhupada's instructions properly. So don't be distracted. Others giving you that quick way. And give you initiation, become a Saki, so many things. I was there in Vrindavan. They'll promise you so many things. Prabhupada promised us, go back home, back to Godhead, just by carrying on his Iskcon society. And I even saw that Nrsingadev feature with his disciple that was doing service. It was right here in India, at Juhu. And he was GBC, very important person here in India for years. But this was 1975. And Prabhupada wanted to send him. No, Prabhupada wanted him to stay in India because he wanted to develop. And the devotee saying, I need to preach. There's no preaching in India. Hear that all the time. Yes. This is what we would say back. Yes, you would try to preach. Yeah, I know Krishna. I know Ram. I know Saraswati. I know Shiva. They know. Indians, they knew everything. They knew nothing. Prabhupada would say hodgepodge. Hodgepodge. Khichdi. Just big mix everything in. I always remember going to one house. Prabhupada went there, and they all have their little altar room. Usually it's about as big, it's the smallest room in the house. And they have Shiva, maybe they have Radha Krishna, they have Kali, Even one house I went into, they had Jesus on the altar. Because you want to check off, just in case I need to follow. So they try to follow everyone. They don't follow anyone, but they're making a show on their little closet altar. They're following all these people, bowing down, praying. So this devotee, he's arguing with Prabhupada. Prabhupada's saying, you have to stay here. Prabhupada, there's no preaching here. Everyone in the USA, they're distributing tens of thousands of books every day, preaching, making devotees, shaving heads. I want to go there. Prabhupada said, no, I want you to stay here. And I'm sitting in the corner. Many times I was sitting in the corner, and this is one of those times again I became filled with anxiety seeing Prabhupada being dealt with in such a way. I fall down immediately. No responses. If he called me nonsense, I just never said anything. No excuses. Excuses means more chastisement with Prabhupada. I learned that right away. Oh, when someone would give an excuse, I go, oh, you idiot, you fool. Because Prabhupada was going to chastise you, and now you're going to get double and triple, quadruple, 100 times if he has to. But this was going back and forth. I want you to stay here. No, I want to go to the USA. And it's getting louder and louder and louder. And Prabhupada's shaking. And then finally he got to the point and Prabhupada looked at him. He said, you chant your 16 rounds, follow the regulative principles, do any damn thing you want. And that was it. Prabhupada sent him away. Later on, everything worked out. But we only have one business. It's to sincerely serve the desires of our spiritual master. And in Iskcon, we know what that means. Every day we say Founder Acharya, BBT, Iskcon BBT, Founder Acharya. Everything is coming from him. You serve him very nicely, very attentively, carefully, understanding what's right, what's wrong, follow chain of command. Everything is guaranteed by Srila Prabhupada. And it's not a long time. I'm next month 72 years old. 52 years have gone by. Like that, I remember more things from 52 years ago than from yesterday. But I know what I'm supposed to do. Prabhupada's given me so much. And I know to take care of his temple in Vrindavan for me is the most important thing. Prabhupada said it's his home. That means it's our home. He's our father, our grandfather. He's giving us this place. This place is his home. But Vrindavan, very special. Everywhere we have to be so very careful not to take for granted. He was saying to me, our GBC deity minister, so much mercy becoming Prabhupada's servant. I said, who can imagine? Even being part of this society, so much mercy. What to speak of being able to serve personally? It's causeless mercy. Anyway, it's after 9 o'clock. We have time for a question or two? Okay.
Questions, comments? Yes. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for pouring such a wonderful nectar for us.
Dai.
So, Prabhuji, you have said, many devotees, they go to Vrindavan and they don't go to Vrindavan or Iskcon Krishna Balaram temple and they go here and there. So, Prabhupada has given some specific instructions at those times when there were more of the Western devotees were prominent in our Iskcon movement. But now as we see Iskcon is growing up more and more in our Indian continent. So when some of the leaders, or many of the leaders, when they take devotees to Vrindavan, they are mostly Indians. So they love to take darshan of the Leela Sthalis as well. They love to go to the places where Krishna has done past.
Yes.
So how to relate, like at that Prabhupada's time there were the instructions related to the devotees, more prominent Western devotees. Now the scenario is more of the Indian devotees were there. So how to relate and how to do a balance between both of the instructions and the preaching on the ground?
Over the years, sometimes I've gone on different pilgrimages with like we have our Vrindavan, Parikram, Mayapur, very, very nice. But when you go to those places, what happens? You hear from these devotees. It's always about hearing, in connection with what Prabhupada has given us. So it's not just for the sake of going, go here, go there. No, we always have to hear. And we want to hear from someone in Prabhupada's disciplic succession that understands and knows properly. But the focus, in my opinion, from my experience with Prabhupada, is the closer you stay to him, safer you are. So when you go, then you have to be careful who you're hearing from. So you have to hear from connection of Prabhupada's disciples, those that are firmly fixed in the philosophy properly. Just like with me, they say, you tell Prabhupada stories. It's not about stories. Everything, there's philosophy behind it, just like Krishna book, just like Lord Nrsingadev. How many times have we heard these pastimes of Lord Nrsingadev? Hopefully hundreds, thousands of times. Doesn't mean you stop hearing them. I already heard that. No, every time you hear, you can understand more and more of the purpose. So it's nice, and coming to Vrindavan for a few weeks, and Prabhupada also encouraged, you take them, but you take them, they're protected, not independently wandering. You go with the group, just like Dinabandhu Prabhu. We all know, for a generation he's been taking people around. But he's fixed. You come to the temple in the morning, the deity greeting. He's standing there. He's offering prayers in front of Gauranatai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Shyama Sundar. He's a Prabhupada man. So that's what you hear from. Someone you see is firmly fixed at Prabhupada's lotus feet. Then you can benefit. Otherwise, you're just spending your time. The place is sacred. Vrindavan is, Prabhupada said 100 times. You do 1% in Vrindavan, it becomes 100%, 100 times. But also your offenses are 100 times. I see in Vrindavan, living there. Definitely. We have the razor's edge. Now you have, what do you have? Mach 5. You've got 5 razors on it. That's Vrindavan. No limit to the razor's edge, it's there. How careful we have to be, or boom, like that. And we see one person's there, and you can see it happening. This person is on his way out. Sure enough, it might take a couple of years. I saw one, 3 years it took. I could see he's off. Too much into the prophet adoration distinction. Thinks everything, me. I'm the person doing all this. You're nobody. We're dog, Prabhupada's dog. But that's what you want to be, right at the lotus feet. Not thinking I'm such a wonderful preacher. Look at all these people coming to hear from me. They're coming to hear this philosophy through Srila Prabhupada, through the disciplic succession. And you're fortunate to be able to be a mouthpiece. But if you think your mouth is working independently, it's a very short trip off of that ship. So it's fine. People come and you have to take them. We have our welcome center, guided tours, guided. We need to be guided properly. Yes. Okay.
Until it is 10 o'clock, the yajna will start.
Yes.
Before that,
So,
devotion.
prasadam.
Devotees will start prasadam.
We can become Krishna conscious just by eating prasadam. But if it's too spicy, I can't eat. So have a little pity on some of us Westerners. The chili doesn't work. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nrsimhadev ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His Hare ShrutKirti Prabhu ki Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So I request Prabhuji to keep coming back. I know Vrindavan is your home, but this isn't too far.
Right, thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
We have those curtains, they're the original curtains. See, that's what we keep. We have curtains of Srila Prabhupada wrapped around photographs of this photograph of Prabhupada. So just stick to Srila Prabhupada. Your life will be a success. Okay.
Thank you very much.